Okay, welcome to part 3 of the PHP and MySQL login registration and admin tutorial. In this part, we're going to be creating the dashboard, the admin page. Before we do that, there's one thing I quickly wanted to add into the index page or the login page. We should create a link to register. So down below the submit button, actually, you know what? We'll get rid of one of these line breaks, and we will do href equals register.php register, and we will close out the link, and we will create a line break. Oops. Yeah, we should have left that in there. Sure, why not? Okay, so now let's go on to the dashboard page. So let's open and close our PHP tags. And the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to start our session. Session start. And we are going to do, I mean, really, you can do whatever you want with your dashboard. So let's get the user info. So there's something I'm leaving out here that I'll get back to in a few minutes. I want to show you, but let's go ahead and get the user info. So get info equals, before we do that, we need to require connect.inc.php. Okay, now here we go. So double quotes, select star from users where ID equals ID. So we haven't set that ID variable. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ID equals $_session ID. We can actually echo that out. Echo. So now if we go in here, it should say 1. Oh, is it 2? It is 2. Okay. All right, so here's our ID. Okay, perfect. So if we were to change that to, like, I don't know, 749, we refresh and it is still 2. Why is it still 2? Because we logged in with that ID. That is why. Yeah, okay. So if we were to log out, actually, you know what? That's a good time to do this. We'll go ahead and create a logout file real quick. Save that as logout.php. Open and close your PHP tags. We need 3 lines of code in here. That's all. Session underscore start. Session underscore destroy. And header location, capital L, index.php. And that is it. So let's go with, let's navigate to logout, logout.php, and it automatically kicked us back. So this is what I wanted to show you before. Now, if we try to get into dashboard.php, it's going to let us in. The ID isn't set because we don't have a session set, because it's reading from the, we can get rid of this file, because it's reading from the session. So that's a problem. It should not be letting us into the dashboard when we're not logged in. So to do that, we will create an if statement to check and see if there is a session set. So if not is set, $_session ID header location index.php exit. So now if we refresh it, it should kick us back. Yep. So now we won't be able to get into our dashboard page until we log in. So let me log back in here, Zach and password, and it let us back in. So now it says 749 because that is our session ID. So I'm just going to leave it alone, whatever. Okay. So now let's go back down to this SQL statement. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping all over the place here. Okay, get info. Select star from users where ID equals. Yeah, okay, that's all well and good. Res equals MySQLi query con, comma, get info. Row equals MySQLi underscore fetch underscore ASSOC. In brackets, we're going to do res, because res is reading from the connection and the get info file. That was a mouthful. Sorry. Hope you caught all that. So now what we can do, let's actually get rid of the echo up here. And let's echo welcome back and then the user's name. So let's go echo welcome back. And now we're going to concatenate. I put a space in here. I'll show you why in a second. So concatenate, it's a full stop or a period. Row, because this is row is going to pull from the database with this command. Fname dot lname. Oh, nope. Row lname. Okay, so there's not going to be a space in between first name and last name. Ah. It's not fatch. F-A-T-C-H, it's fetch. Ta-da! Alright. I feel silly. Okay, cool. So now let's go back and echo welcome back, comma, full stop, so period, row, fname dot row lname. So welcome back Zach S. So there's no space. So we can do that by concatenating a space on. So there's already concatenation here. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to create a space and then add a full stop or a period to that. Now there's a space. I hate concatenation. I had such a hard time with understanding that when I learned PHP. So if you didn't want the last name in there, you could just do this. Welcome back, Zach. And you could do something like full stop and then an exclamation mark. So that will be different. So that'll pull, you know, like let's say we have Zach, Sue, and Sally. So if Sally logs in, it's not going to say Zach, it's going to say Sally. Let's go ahead and add a logout button. We can do that one of two ways. Let me show you the. Let me show you both ways actually. So we're going to echo HTML. So we're going to create a line break, and then href equals double quotes logout.php. Close that off. Logout. Close out our PHP tag, and we should have a logout button, and we do. Awesome. So I'm going to remove that for now, or what we could do is we could do our HTML and we could create it like that. So either way, whatever works well for you. So I'll actually just do it with the HTML. Okay, so that is pretty much it for the dashboard. I don't know. I mean, you can add whatever you want onto the into the database. I mean, you could do like news articles or something like that, and you could have the news pop up. You could do, you know, like your local weather. I mean, really, it's limitless. So, you know, you really have free reign at this point. You know, once you've created the login system, you pretty much have free reign. Okay, so now let's go ahead and log out here and let's start working on the admin page. So now, before, if you remember, we had this column in here, admin. So I'm going to change mine to 1. And what we can do, we could go through and we could re-edit the login page and say if we could create an if statement, have it check the database and say if admin equals 1, then create a different session. But I would rather just do the easy way in this case and have the admin page check it. So we're going to go ahead and create admin.php, open our PHP tags, close our PHP tags, create our HTML, admin area. Okay, so session underscore start require connect.inc.php if not is set $_session ID header location index index.php exit. Okay, so if we log in, okay, and we now try to navigate to the admin page. Cool, so it let us in. Now, however, if we go back to here and try to go into the admin page .php, it shouldn't let us, yeah, because the session isn't set. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create an additional check to see if in fact that user has administrative privileges. So we are going to, I could probably put it in here too, but no, I'll just do it down here. So let's run that chunk of code, and then let's get the info. So get info equals double quotes, select admin from users where where ID equals ID. And so here we'll create the ID variable equals $_session ID. Okay, so res equals MySQLi fetch ASSOC. That is not what we're doing. Res equals MySQLi query. Sorry about that. Con and get info. Now we do row equals MySQLi fetch ASSOC res. So admin equals row admin. And actually, let's echo that out. So it should show a 1. I'm not logged in. Oops. Okay. Admin.php. Yep. Okay, so we've got a 1. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create an if statement. If admin not equal to 1, header location index index.php exit. So now okay. All right, so now that seems to have worked. So if we change this to 0 and try to refresh that, yep, it kicked this back out. Okay, so I was doing a double equals and I shouldn't have been. So yeah, okay. So basically that's the whole check. So that way we don't have to go through and code a new session. So okay, so now we have done our checks and we can get all of our users. Before we do that, let's go ahead and register another user. I'll just copy this. Actually, let's put in a few. Insert first name. So now if we go browse, so I will be able to log into the admin panel. Slash, I think I logged out. No, I didn't. Okay. But if I were to log out and try to log in under one of those accounts, yeah, okay. So MJ and password. So it's going to take us to dashboard. See, welcome back, Mike. Now if we go into admin, it doesn't let us. Actually, you know what? We should have that kicked to dashboard. Because if they're not logged in at all, the dashboard is going to kick them back to the login area anyways. So, yep, there we go. Cool. So now, if I were to password, there we go. Okay. See, I can get into the admin area, so we're good. Okay, so now let's create another SQL statement. So we'll just call that one SQL equals select star from users, and we can just leave it at that. We'll name this res2 equals mysqli underscore query, query, and of course con and SQL, and row 2 row 2 equals, I was trying to figure out if I can just name it row, but my SQLi underscore fetch underscore ASSOC res 2. You know what? I made a mistake. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to list all of our users. So we're going to create a well statement. So well row 2 equals all of that. Echo row first name dot space dot L name space ID number space full stop row ID. Okay, so now this should, in theory, well, it should, if I didn't screw up, show all of the users that are registered. And I screwed up. Undefined first name. Oh, you know why? Because I did... Okay, so this needs to be row 2, and that needs to be row 2. Alright, let's see you give me an error this time. Okay. Undefined ID, line 28. Okay, so row 2. Oh man, I forgot one. Okay, cool. So what we can do is we can create, so after this one, we can create another full stop and just do a line break. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so we have all of our users information coming up. So now if we wanted to update something for a user, let's go down into the HTML and let's create a form. Form action equals admin.php, method equals post, of course. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to create two input fields, two text input fields in the submit button. The first one is going to be where they type in the ID that they want to change. So I'm kind of given a general overview on how to edit information. I mean, it's pretty specific on what you want to do, like what you know. We'll just go through a couple of examples here. So input times 2, type equals text, name, placeholder, and of course a line break. Okay, so the first one will actually change to a number, and the name will be ID. Placeholder will be ID. Why not? The second one will be what we want to change. So like, let's say, let's use the example of, do you want to make them an admin? So this will be, in this case, a number as well, actually, because that's how we have it set up in here. It's a number. It's an integer. So name equals admin. Placeholder equals admin. And we'll create one more line break and a input type equals submit. We can get rid of the name, that's fine. Okay, so let's create a bit more space there. Awesome. And actually we'll put a value in here of submit, S-U-B-M-I-T. So that'll, sorry, not submit, update. So that'll change this from submit to update. Awesome. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to come down here and we need to check and see if all of those are set. So if is set $_post ID and is set $_post, what did I name that? Admin. And not empty, $_post ID and not empty, $_post admin. Echo 1. So basically if those are set, it's just going to echo 1. So we'll do 2 and 3. And there's our 1. Awesome. Okay. So now we'll just create our variable ID UID, so we don't confuse that with this up here. So UID equals $_post ID and admin equals $_post admin. Okay, so in the HTML for admin, let's change this to min equal, no, not minimum length, min equals 0 and max equals 1. Okay. Whatever. So we'll change the placeholder to X so it fits. In CSS we can still we can update that and make it longer, but I'm not getting into CSS in this video. Okay, so once that's done, we're going to go ahead and create another SQL statement called update, another variable called update equals double quotes update update users and in this case we're going to update admin to equal admin where ID equals UID. MySQLi query con and update So now that should, so we have the only one that is not 0 is mine. So let's go ahead and update one of these accounts to be 1. So let's change Mike Jones. So his ID is 3. And if we want him to be an admin, we change that to 1. Okay, so let's refresh this. Oops, sorry, refresh this, and it did not work. Why did that not work? Update equals update users. Admin equals admin where ID equals UID. Ah, that's why. Set admin equals, yeah, okay, let's try that. So Mike Jones ID number 3, and we're going to change him to an admin. So refresh, and that still didn't work. Alright guys, sorry about that. I figured out what I did wrong. I have a $sign in here when I shouldn't in my SQL statement. So let's go ahead and take this out where ID equals UID. And let's see if that works this time. So ID is 3, and we're going to make him an admin, so we're going to change that to 1. So if we refresh, yes, so it changed to 1. Yeah, okay, so there's one example. So say you wanted to change the last name. So let's go ahead and delete the placeholders here, or I'm sorry, the min and max. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to change this to, we'll keep this as admin, but whatever. You should probably, for the sake of time, we'll keep it as admin, but you should probably keep, you should probably update this for whatever you need. So placeholder will be last name. So we're going to change the last name now. So update users set L name, because that's what's in the database, as admin where UID equals all of that. Okay, cool. So now this should update the last name. Okay, so ID, let's work on Rick James. 4 is his ID, and last name, let's change it to Rick Fidget Spinner. Because why not? What the heck? Oh, it's because it's a number. Okay, so text. That's why. So 4. So he will now be known as Rick Fidget Spinner. Update. Now if we refresh, he is Rick Fidget Spinner. So, I mean, you can add as many of these as you want in here. You can basically control every aspect of your database and your users. If they had a bio section, you could do that. You could add in a field like band. Leave that as an integer. Default would be 0. So if you were to do band, like if you were to change this to band equals 1, you could run an if statement and check and see if the user's banned in the dashboard page or in the login page. If they are, you can give them an error telling them they're banned. Or if you wanted to, you could update the ban information in here, so you could ban a user from the dashboard. So there's a lot of things you can do. So I hope this tutorial was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Please definitely subscribe. That helps me out a lot. And I will catch you guys in the next tutorial.